Hello children, let's begin with the chapter The Two Merchants of Seri. The lesson teaches us that honesty is the best policy. The story is about two merchants who sold things made of brass and tin. One of them was greedy. One day, the merchants went to a town together to sell their goods. There was an old lady who had a dish made of gold, but she did not know that. The greedy merchant wanted to fool the old lady and buy the dish for a few copper coins. But let's see whether the old lady gave this golden plate to the greedy merchant or something else happened. Once upon a time, in a place called Seri, there lived a merchant. He went from town to town selling pots and pans and other things made of brass and tin. Now, brass is a bright yellow metal made by combining copper and zinc. He travelled every day with another merchant who also sold brass and tinware. But this other man was greedy. When he sold something, he sold it at a very high price. But when he bought something, he tried to give as little as possible. Once, in a place called Seri, there lived two merchants. They went from town to sell pots and pans and other things made of brass and tin. One of them was very greedy. He sold his things at a very high price and bought anything by paying as little as possible. Now let's read ahead. When the two merchants went into a town, they divided the streets between them. Each one went up and down the streets he had chosen, calling tinware for sale, brass for sale. Now, tinware means things of tin or a metal. People come out of their doorsteps and bought or traded with them. Only after one merchant has finished his business on that street did the other one make his rounds there. In those days, people did not always use money to buy things. Sometimes they exchanged things of the same value. Trade means to buy or sell goods or services. Now, when the two merchants went to a town, they divided their streets and decided that one would go first for selling, and when he had finished his business, the other would go to make his rounds. They called out on the streets, tinware for sale, brass for sale, and people bought tinware or brass things for money or exchanged things of the same value. Now, in one house, there lived a poor old woman and her granddaughter. The family had once been rich, but now the only thing that had left of all there was a dish made of gold. Riches means wealth and valuable things. However, the grandmother did not know it was a golden dish. The dish stood on a shelf among other pots and pans and was not often used. Now, in one house, a poor old lady and her granddaughter lived. Their family used to be rich, but now they had no money. They had only a dish made of gold, but the grandmother was unaware that it was a golden dish. The dish was unused and kept with other pots and pans. Now, the greedy merchant passed this house, calling, "Buy my water jars, buy my pans, buy my tinware." The granddaughter said, "Oh, grandmother, do buy something for me." "My dear," said the old woman, "we are too poor to buy anything. I have not anything to trade even." "Grandmother, see, I have found this old dish among other pots and pans on the shelf. We don't ever use it. Can we trade this? Perhaps the merchant will take it and give us something nice for it." Now, the old woman called the merchant and showed him the dish, saying, "Will you take this, sir, and give the little girl here something for it?" Now, the greedy merchant passed by the house calling for the people to buy his things. The granddaughter asked her grandmother to buy her something. The grandmother replied they had no money and nothing to exchange. The granddaughter found the gold dish and asked her grandmother to exchange this dish for something. The grandmother asked the merchant if he could give anything for the dish. The greedy man took the dish and scratched its side with a needle. He came to know immediately that it was a golden dish, but he wanted to get it for nothing from the old woman. Get it for nothing means without paying a lot of money or cheap. So he said, "What is this worth? Not even a copper coin." He threw the dish on the ground and went away. The crafty merchant was planning to come back after some time and buy the dish for a few copper coins, as if doing a great favor to the old lady. Favor means an act of kindness beyond what is usual. Crafty means cunning or clever but dishonest. Now, The greedy merchant came to know that the dish was made of gold, but he wanted to get it for nothing. He checked the dish and threw it on the ground. He told the old lady that the dish was worth nothing. The cunning merchant planned to come back later and buy the dish for a few copper coins, as if he was doing a great favor to the lady. After a while, the honest merchant finished the rounds of his streets and entered the street where the old lady lived. He passed her house calling, "Buy my water jars, buy my tinware, buy my brass." The little girl heard him and begged her grandmother to see what this merchant would give for the dish. Begged means requested. "My child," said the grandmother, "the merchant who was just here threw the dish on the ground and went away. I have nothing else to offer in trade." "But grandmother," said the girl, "this one looks pleasant. Ask him. Perhaps he'll give us something for it." "Call him then and show it to him," said the old woman. Now, the honest merchant then entered the street. The granddaughter again begged her grandmother to buy something, but she said that they had no money and the earlier merchant just threw the dish and went away. The granddaughter begged her to try again, and the old lady showed him the dish. As soon as the merchant took the dish in his hand, he knew it was made of gold. Immediately he said, "This is a golden dish. It is worth more than all my money, all my wares. I'll bring enough money tomorrow and then buy it from you." The old woman was greatly surprised. She was impressed by the honesty and goodness of the merchant. Impressed means feeling or showing admiration or respect for someone or something. "Take this dish and give me the money tomorrow," she said. The honest merchant kept all his wares and money with the old woman and took the dish. He left himself only enough money for the boat ride that he had to take on his way back. Wares means articles for sale. Now, the merchant immediately knew that the dish was made of gold. He told the old lady that the dish was made of gold and that it was worth more than all his money and wares. He told her that he would get enough money the next day and buy the dish. The old lady was surprised at his honesty and told him to keep the dish and give her the money the next day. He kept all his wares and money with the old lady and took the dish. He only kept enough money with him for the boat ride back home. After some time, the greedy merchant went back to the house where he had seen the golden dish and said, "Bring that dish to me, and I will give you something for it." "No," said the grandmother. "You said the dish was worthless, but another honest merchant has paid a great price for it, so I gave it to him. You should not try to take advantage of the poor and needy people." Take advantage of means benefit unfairly for one's own benefit. What could the greedy merchant say? He paid the price for his dishonesty and greed. Dishonesty means not being honest or a fraudulent or a deceitful act. Now, after some time, the greedy merchant returned and told the old lady to bring that dish and he would give her something for it. The grandmother scolded him, saying that the honest merchant paid a great price for that dish and he should stop taking advantage of the poor and needy people. The greedy merchant paid a price for his dishonesty and greed. So children, this was about the story of two merchants. I hope you have understood and enjoyed the session. Thank you.